Today on your homeowners update, we're going to be talking about renovating your home, what you need to know as a homeowner, what to watch out for, and most importantly, how to make sure you don't end up with a house that's half torn apart and not enough money to finish the job. So if you're new to the channel, on the 15th of every month, I do a homeowner update. The rest of the time, we're teaching people how to buy a house, but it's important to talk about this stuff. Okay. Let's talk about my expertise on the topic. I have done 3 renovations in the last 5 years. Now, when I think back on those renovations, do I think back on them fondly? No. Number 1, renovating your house is miserable. I don't care what anyone tells you. There is no joy or fun in it. I have yet to meet anyone that's enjoyed a renovation, okay? And it's for the simple reason, lack of control. Now, if you're doing all the work yourself, you'll have some level of control, but generally if you're going to be doing a larger renovation, you're dealing with plumbing, electrical, you need to bring in the professionals. It's that simple. And when you bring in the professionals, you have a lack of control. They could tell you it's going to take 6 months. It could take 9, right? There's nothing you can do about it. They could tell you it's going to be $100,000. It could be $150,000. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, the list goes on and on. So first of all, if you're thinking this is going to be fun, it's not. It's not. Okay. You guys are like, wow, leading with sunshine. Yes, I am. It's true. Okay. The next thing is a lot of times people call me and they're like, hey, Jen, I want to take cash out of my house to remodel my kitchen. And I'm like, cool. How much do you need? Oh, like $100,000. Well, have you priced it out yet? No, but it can't be more than. Famous last words when it comes to a renovation. It can't be more than. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And it's for the stupidest reasons. It can be more than. And that's what you really need to know. So before you call your lender to see if you can take money out of the house or to see if a construction loan makes sense, here's what you need to do. Number 1, you're going to go through the entire house. You're going to figure out every single thing that you would like to do. You're going to write it down. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at every single item and see what else it would lead to. So for example, if you're like, I want new floors. Okay, cool. When you tear out the floors and you put in new ones, you're going to need new baseboards and new paint. So add that to the list. I want new windows. Okay, are they going to be the same shape? No. Well, guess what? You're going to be doing drywall. You're going to have exterior work that needs to be done, new trim. It's a whole journey. Go and look where all the windows are in the house. Is one in the shower surrounded by tile? Guess what? You're going to need to redo that shower because they're going to be damaging the tile to get that window out. You know, go through and see what touches what. Very important. The other thing is you may be like, well, Jen, I just want to do my kitchen. Okay, are you going to keep all the walls the same? What do you mean? Well, sometimes people decide that they want to take out a wall, they might want to put in a bar, they might want to open up the space, they might want to close the space. Really look at the space and go, okay, what is my dream? What does this look like? Okay. Then once you've figured out all the things you want to do, you need to go in and get even more granular and you're going to start picking and pricing. Now, people usually go, well, wait a second, why would I pick out and price the stuff before I get the money? Because you have to see if you can even afford this dream. It's that simple, or if you want to. And want to is what I see more of. You know, I have many clients that have those really low interest rates from 2020, 21, and 22. And they've come to me to go, oh, I want to take out money to do this. And I'm like, if I do a cash out refi, your rate's going to go from this to this. You want that payment? And they're like, no, I don't care about the kitchen that much, right? So it's really important that you're pricing out and picking stuff out. And you don't have to buy it. Like, don't go buy all your tile. You know, don't buy your light fixtures. Don't buy your appliances. Don't buy your molding. Don't buy the doorknobs. Don't buy the little things on the back of the door so it doesn't go through the wall. But price it out and pick it out. The reason I say that is because the amount of choices that you have to make when you're doing a renovation, it's mind-blowing, and you are spending a lot of money. So you really want to make your choices impactful. And by giving yourself time, grace, and the ability to research, you'll end up with the better project. I went through 2 remodels to figure out how to do the third. The third was the best by far, but that's because A, I had a great contractor who had a great designer, but also because I had already been through it with everyone else, okay? And what I can tell you is if you're thinking you want a new bathtub, great, start researching bathtubs. There's different materials and how they conduct heat. There's different durability. There's different cost. You know, sometimes people go, I want the cheapest. Not necessarily. Cheapest is not always going to be what lasts long term. Also, if you're thinking of reselling the house within the next 5 years, you need to think about resale, okay? Very important. Can't stress it enough. So go through and price everything. You know, for one of the renovations I did, actually both of them, I actually ordered all the marble for the bathroom. So we did marble tiles, subway tiles in one. It wasn't crazy expensive at the time. Now it's like twice as much, you know, on that home. So I like build.com. I like Signature Hardware. You know, if you're looking, you've got to think about the really minor stuff like, oh, I'm going to do new kitchens. Okay, what do the cabinets look like? The cabinet pulleys, right? Restoration Hardware actually has some good stuff. And if you get the membership, it can get pretty inexpensive. You know, Anthropology. There's all these different shops, but you want to pay attention to that because you don't want to end up spending $50,000 on new kitchen cabinets and then the contractor just puts some pulleys on it and they look terrible and you don't like them because that's going to make you unhappy and that's not the goal. So you're going to spend the time to pick everything out. Once you know what the supplies are, at that point I would say call me, check in, let's talk about it. Because if you're like, okay, Jen, you know, it looks like the supplies roughly are about $100,000. That doesn't even include labor or the cushion you're going to need. I'm going to go through, okay, so if we do, I would probably, if you said the supplies were 100, I'd probably go to 250. Just knowing labor, how expensive it can get, and then a $50K cushion at a minimum for in case they find something you weren't expecting, like a leak in the plumbing, dry rot, you know, there's a lot of stuff that can go sideways. So I would do the numbers with you. Okay, how do you feel about these numbers? And if you're happy with it, would I give you the money? I wouldn't, I would say no. I would say, hey, go talk to a contractor now. Now, if you're like, I want the money, yeah, of course. Like, look, guys, I can't tell you no, but I would advise that you get more information. So contractor, whew, you got to research them. Do not just trust a friend or someone your friend recommends. No way. I did that. Worst experience of my life. The guy was a nuisance. You know, the thing about doing a renovation is you pay for a bit up front, but then you're only supposed to pay the contractor after they complete work. Well, I didn't know that with the first renovation. This guy would show up on my doorstep. He'd be like, I need $50,000. I'm like, what? I'm like, I've already paid you everything you're owed. I can't pay my guys. They're not going to show up. Well, what happened to the money? I had to use it on another job. Well, how's that but you're a hostage. Your house is torn up. Right? So you're dealing with, you know, someone who could be a total criminal, which I think this guy actually might be in jail now. And you're just in this terrible situation because your house is torn up and you have no way to put it back together. This guy, I just have to for a second, he was the worst. Literally, I'd go on his Instagram and he would be popping bottles of Cristal. No joke. Like, I can't afford Cristal, but he's at my doorstep, you know, hustling me to get money so that he can have Cristal and buying male Louboutins. Can we talk about this for a minute? Ladies, I don't know about you, but like me, if a guy's wearing Louboutins, I'm like, who are you and why are you trying so hard? Like, this is weird. Like, I don't even wear shoes that expensive. That's nuts. Anyways, side note, weigh in the comments. Should men wear Louboutins? He wasn't wearing the heels. They actually have men's shoes, but regardless, it was weird. I digress. You really want to research the contractor, and we did that on the most recent remodel. Like, we had learned our lesson before. We did that. We had a really good experience with our most recent remodel. Great contractor, good reviews, Google reviews. And look, there was one bad Google review, and I asked them about it. I said, hey, this woman didn't like her cabinets. She said there was no warranty. What's the deal? And they're like, those cabinets are actually amazing. We use them all the time. Here's what happened. They explained it to me and I was like, oh, that's actually realistic. Okay. You know, and they were great, but I took the time to research them. I took the time to walk through everything I wanted and I got a bid. Now, here's the thing. You're like, okay, well, Jen, if I get a good contractor, I already priced stuff out, then the bid should be pretty accurate. right? No. Here's why. Unforeseen. Every single property I've renovated has something unforeseen. And look, you may go, well, is that a contractor con? No, they just can't see through walls. You know, in California, we had mold in a shower that no one knew was there behind the tiles. We had a deck that was like almost completely rotted out, which you couldn't tell from the top, really creepy. In New York, you know, with the great contractor, the floors, when they actually took up the old floors to put the new floors down, they found that the prior owner, when they replaced the floors, instead of properly leveling the floors, they'd basically like taken playing cards. I'm not even kidding. It was like the equivalent of like 50 wood pieces as playing cards and like done this like stilt type thing throughout the house. It was nuts, you know? And this isn't something you could see until they tore it up. They sent us the pictures and I was like, oh my God, $40,000 later, the floor's level, right? It's crazy. And you may be like, well, I'll just tell them no. Look, on the leveling, could I have said no? Yes. Would it have affected my resale down the line? Oh yeah. I mean, no one wants to be roller skating throughout their house, you know, but there's some stuff you can't say no to. The shower in California with the black mold, could I say no to that? No. I had to have enough to fix it. So the key thing's this: renovating can be great. However, you need to go in and spend a lot of time researching, pricing, understanding before you take out money and before you start the project. I cannot stress it enough. And if, you know, it's okay to interview a couple contractors. And if one says, oh, I can make it so cheap. You know, I actually, at this point, I've been burnt by that before. That was Mr. Louboutin. What I have found is that you want someone who's going to be reasonable. It's just like loans, right? Like when you guys call me, I'm going to tell you the real deal. I'm not going to BS you. But of course, there's always going to be a lender that's like, I could do it 1% lower and it's going to be free. But then you get screwed in the end. So same thing with contractors. Watch out for it. And lastly, I say lastly, but I just thought of two things. If you're doing a renovation, if you're doing it for yourself and that's your long-term house, go crazy. If you like orange cabinets, do it. If you want little pigs as the poles, go for it. If you want only showers, no bathtub, you be you. It's your home. But if you're doing a renovation with the intention of reselling within the next 5 years, well, that's a different story. I would be looking at what's going to give you the highest resale. And there's going to be some stuff that's not worth renovating because it's not going to increase what you sell the house for. So really important you think about that as well. Questions, comments, as always, reach out, 786-933-2077. And look, for 2025, I would say plan your remodel. Would I start one this year? No, not with the fires, skilled labor going there, potential tariffs, But start planning now and take time to really pick out what you want and make sure the math works. Thanks for watching.